Alright, what's good? It's your boy 100 Days of Summer. I'm about to do a review of Jay-Z's new 444 album. I just listened to it. I heard it on iHeartRadio. I tried to get it on Tidal, but you had to have a Sprint subscription, and I'm not with Sprint, so I can't listen to it through that way. But iHeart, I think, is streaming it all day today, every 2 hours or whatnot. So I listened to it on iHeart, and I gotta say, it's an amazing fucking album. It's like everything that I've wanted from Jay. It's like everything he was hinting on I think the song Murder to Excellence on what was that? Watch the Throne. And like stuff that he was hinting on Magna Carta, like it's a line he say Basquiat, Warhols serving as my muses. My house like a museum, so I see them when I'm peeing. Usually you had as much taste, you European. That's the end of that way of thinking, nigga, never again. And like what he's saying there basically is he's trying to get people to think on a higher level, you know what I mean? Because he's always made certain items cool and whatnot. So he was trying to get people to understand that paintings and shit like that actually has value and appreciates is cool. And he's like, usually that's how white people or European people think, but that's the end of that way. That's the how white supremacy has trained you to see it. That's the end of that way of thinking. Also saying that's the end of that way of thinking. Nigga minded. Never again. Like we about to change how we see that shit and how we relate to that. And he touched on that a lot on this album with the song where he say something like, I bought a painting, it was worth $1 million. The next year it was worth 2. The next year, you know what I mean, it went to 4, then it went to 8. He's like, I can't wait to leave that to my children. You know what I mean? Like that way of thinking is what he's bringing on this album, talking about his marriage, in humility though, not in a cocky I'm Jay-Z way, like in a way of like that. That's why it's dope, because the first song on the album is Kill Jay-Z, and on that album he's basically talking about the ego self. He's talking about killing the ego self, you know what I mean? Talking about killing the ego persona that he created, Jay-Z, which was the shit what he say, damn, me settle down with a woman, never happened, I'll be forever macking. Like he's killing that person. He's killing the jigger, which is the jigaboo, the nigga who got a shuck and jive to get this money, while on the inside he's dying because he's a real nigga, you know what I mean? Or a real black man, however y'all want to say it. But you know what I mean by when I say that word, the intention behind it. So to me, it's an album that's gonna elevate the the consciousness of music and just the atmosphere, especially of black culture, because he's still moving on with where he started at with that black excellence thing. Like you remember, Jay started with the the suit, the top hat, and the cigar. He was trying to get these images out there and that concept out there for a minute. But remember the line he said where he's like, something like, ever basically since I started making commercial music, I haven't been making conscious music because I see that commercial music is what makes the money, and that's what I have to do. He has to, like certain people, you know, you have a certain responsibility level you put on certain people like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, but you got to understand that if these people don't play the game, they'll never get to the level of where they can one day get to the point where they can say what's real and what's true without being penalized, with where they can get to the point where they're untouchable in that sense. And that's where he's gotten. You know, him and Beyonce's net worth combined together gives them a lot of power in this world that we live in. And with that, they're able to, one, gain a mass following, so that one day when they reach a specific level, they'll be able to give you the game. And that's what he's giving you on this album. He's giving you the game. So it's like, if you don't receive, experience, interact with the energy of this album, you missing out. You know what I mean? This shit had me considering switching to Sprint this morning, and I must say I hate Sprint. You know, that's one of the only networks left I know where that's really still dropping calls. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Metro PCS. My service is phenomenal. So it's like I'm ready to switch though, because I gotta ingest this album over and over and over again, because it's that important to the mindset of the music I want to make, and it's that important to know where the leaders of black culture are trying to take the culture next. You know what I mean? You have to be aware of that if you want to take part in to make your own moves in your own way, in your own lifestyle, your own world. You know what I mean? So that while that thing moves up, you can basically participate in that. You know what I mean? So the album is great, man. If you haven't listened to it yet, listen to the album. I mean, hopefully it's not going to be so exclusive that because I got Tidal this morning just to listen to the album. Facts. And I'll keep Tidal to listen to the album. That's facts. So if you, hopefully it's not going to be super duper exclusive. You know what I mean, for the time being, so that I can get it without having to switch to Sprint. My cousin got Sprint, so tonight I'm going to his crib. When he get off, we're gonna listen to the album together and whatnot, and just soak in the vibes of that, man, because he's addressing like the young cats that's doing all the music. That's, I mean, they 19, 20, 21, so they speaking from their level of experience, and he experienced that as well. But he's, you know, what they're frauding on, he lived. You know what I mean? What they're frauding on and poisoning people so that they can get bread, he lived that, you know what I'm saying, and spoke his story as well. But he's gotten to a place where, you know, everybody, when they get around to their 30s, they look at the dumb shit they did in their teens and their 20s and be like, damn, I wish somebody would have schooled me. And that's pretty much what he's given, is like that. I've been there, that shit ain't really cool, and this is what you really need to be on, so that you're not poisoning the culture and being taken advantage of, and so that you got longevity for you and your family. Like, that's real dope shit. And that's the type of shit that niggas ain't rapping about, but when they get in the interviews, they like, oh yeah, I'm buying real estate, or I don't even really do lean, or I don't do no drugs, I don't even drink. But in their music, that's the concepts that they're portraying, and that's the shit that niggas is trying to live. You know what I mean? So it's dope for somebody of his caliber to get to the place where this is really where those who have awakened and are grown up or matured, you know, that's what they want to hear on a mainstream, thorough OG nigga level. You know what I'm saying? And of course we've been wanting that from Jay-Z for a long time. This is like his conscious album in a sense. This is his grown man shit, for real. Like, not change clothes grown man level. This is by art grown man level, by the block grown man level, like talking about himself in a humble way, where he's like, man, my mistakes was I spent this much on a car or something like that. I could have bought this much real estate. Now that real estate worth this much, and I feel stupid about it. Like, that's the type of bars that he's giving. You know what I'm saying? That shit is dope. So check it out, man. This is my review, 100 Days of Summer. Check out my music, SoundCloud. You can Google it, 100 Days of Summer, 1N. You'll find me. My shit hot. You already know. Thanks for fucking with me. Peace.